Unscripted.
Being that it's the end of the year, we're starting to see a lot of these end of the year report cards show up for the various consoles for this past year, and in light of the fact that we have new consoles that just launched, and I think that that's pretty cool as well. You know, it's like usually when you have a new console launches, you have a situation where these companies will take it easy on their old consoles, and again, this was a situation that is kind of foreign to Sony because they've never really done that. They always go hard and come out with the games no matter what, and I thought that what they did was drastically different this time around as opposed to when the PS4 launched from the PS3, because the PS4 tended to launch with lackluster content right up front, and then the PS5 launched with really good content up front, which is vastly different than what we've seen previously. So that was kind of cool to see that happen. And Microsoft, on the other hand, this is the first time that I can recall that an Xbox console had such a lackluster launch. If I look back to the original Xbox, it launched with stuff like Halo, so I mean, it had a killer app right away. And then when you look at the Xbox 360, it launched with really a plethora of stuff, including they managed to launch with Perfect Dark Zero and Cameo, and Call of Duty 2 was a console launch exclusive as well. So they had a lot of stuff right out of the gate, and then obviously within the first year they had Gears of War, which was a huge thing, and a lot of people excited to get that and to sort of play with that game. That was the whole reason why I bought an Xbox 360. Xbox One, again, fantastic console at launch. Killer Instinct was pretty much the reason that I bought that. And then when you look at it, there was obviously some other things as well that made that a worthwhile situation. One of the things being Dead Rising 3, Forza 5, you had Rise Son of Rome, and then within the first few months you had Titanfall, which was something that I hadn't really seen before, which was really cool. And that was something that I was really much looking forward to as well. Again, and then when you look at the Xbox One X, basically it had Forza Motorsport 7, and that was pretty much it at launch, which is cool. I think Forza Motorsport 7 was an okay game. You have a racing game, but then you go ahead to the Series X, and you didn't even have that. So you kind of look back and you go, oh, well, that's kind of crazy. But we do see something that came out, and it really just goes to show that Sony knows really what they're talking about in terms of their console, in terms of what their fan base want. And I have to be pretty thankful that they're able to sort of get that out there and say, hey, we know what fans want. We know fans want to see this. We know fans want this over that. And I think that they've done a really good job of showcasing it, but I want to get into it. So hey, let's do that. What's up, everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I really do appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. It helps out the channel, and it means a lot to me personally. If you're looking for a way to help out my little crappy channel, the best way to do it, a simple like. It goes an extremely long way, and it means a lot to me. It's free for you guys to do as well, so there's that. Also, if you guys are looking to really help out, you can take a minute to consider subscribing. Shout out to all the old subscribers, new subscribers, and everybody in between. You are very much appreciated around these parts. Thank you so much for always rocking out with me. So yeah, this was something that I thought was very interesting. When I saw this, and this video is about more than just this, but I kind of wanted to cover it with this as well. So I saw this on a site. They were giving out they were giving out grades on this past year alone, and they gave the PlayStation side of things an A+, and it was just basically goes on to talk about it says many would have forgiven Sony if they ended up having a lackluster 2020, at least until the PlayStation 5 launched. Console transitions are a difficult thing as resources shift away from the older platform to make way for the new one, and it's not uncommon for consoles last year to be among the worst in terms of consistent support. This was exactly the opposite of what happened in the PlayStation 4, as in 2020. Sony and its third-party partners delivered hit after hit for the system, all while preparing for the impending launch of the PS5. Of course, games like Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us Part 2 were major highlights of the year, but the supporting cast was just as strong, with Dreams, MLB The Show 20, Marvel's Iron Man VR, rounding out PS4's lineup. And then there was third-party support, which was again solid for Sony, with RPG giants Persona 5 Royale and Final Fantasy VII Remake leading the way as exclusives, not to mention the hundreds of top-tier content shared across multiple platforms. So They really went on to showcase that, the first party releases like Patapon 2 Remastered Dreams, MLB The Show, Predator Hunting Grounds, The Last of Us 2, Iron Man VR, Ghost of Tsushima, Horizon Zero Dawn, PlayStation 5, console came out, Astro's Playroom, Demon Souls Remake, Sackboy, Marvel Spider-Man Remastered, and Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. So they gave them an A+. And then when you look at the Xbox things, they ended up with a D+. So, I mean, you can really kind of go on to say that they've kind of taken a different approach. And this says it all, in my opinion. It says when it comes to looking at 2020 for Microsoft, the first thing that is apparent is how differently they approached the launch of a new platform, the Xbox Series XS, when compared to Sony, where Sony's launch was more traditional. Microsoft opted instead for a strategy that was more like continuing the Xbox One lineage, starting fresh with a new console. And in the regard, they succeeded, as after getting your hands on a new Xbox Series console, there's very little need to keep the older system around. However, that was at the expense of that feeling of playing something, of not playing something truly next gen, as they say, or as in this regard, we have to say that this year felt like a bit of a letdown for Microsoft. And then they go on to list the stuff that they had, which was like Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which is a good game, but that was even later released on the Nintendo Switch, so that's a full multiplat. Bleeding Edge, terrible game, died fast. Gears Tactics, PC game that got ported. Minecraft Dungeons, which was a multiplat Microsoft Flight Simulator, not even on the Xbox. Battletoads 2020 sucked. Tell me why. Didn't play it, but sucks. Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition, PC only. They released their new consoles, and then there's literally nothing new there. It's just like, if you look at it, it's like Forza Horizon 4 got an update, Gears 5 got an update, Sea of Thieves got an update, Halo Master Chief Collection got an update. I mean, it's really sad if you think about it. But a lot of people don't realize this, how much in the past Sony and Microsoft have kind of gone head to head, and Sony, to their credit, hadn't had to do a whole bunch of copying of Microsoft, where when we look at what Microsoft is doing, we've seen that that's not always been the case. They have in fact gone out there and sort of copied a lot of what Microsoft has been doing, or so Microsoft has actually been doing that. It's funny to me that a new patent came out for the December 1st, 2020, Xbox is copying the PS5's DualSense adaptive triggers, renaming them, rephrasing theirs as clutched force feedback triggers. So the funny part was a lot of Xbox fanboys were talking smack and saying, oh, well, we don't really need all that stuff. We don't really need, that's nonsense. That's not next gen. And now here we are. It looks like they're going to come out with a new version of the controller, which of course I'll link this in the description. You guys can check it out. I just found this to be incredibly funny because this is the kind of stuff I say. It's like, you got to be careful when you say stuff, because it comes back to bite you in the butt. Now it looks like Microsoft is coming out there trying to do something very similar to what Sony did, and they're doing it after the launch of their new console. So it's like they're going to probably force you, 100% going to force you to buy a new controller completely to encompass their quote-unquote next gen, and be it that it's not included with everyone, you doubt that it's going to get very much support from third parties and stuff like that. Whereas on Sony's side, third-party developers are already out in force saying how quickly they're going to support this thing and how great it's going to be, and I think that's going to be the huge difference. Like, I've said this multiple times already, even if an Xbox version of a game had an advantage over a PlayStation version, like say Pixels or something like that, if that version of the game, if the PlayStation version of the game actually had support with a DualSense, that's an advantage for Sony, and that's exactly what this is shaping up to be. We keep seeing that Sony is getting all these different advantages and stuff like that, and it does make Microsoft look worse and worse because they keep having to go back and kind of retcon what they're doing, and I'm not saying that the Xbox is terrible. I'm just saying some of these ideas, like, you're scratching your head like, what the hell were they thinking? And this is one of those times where you're like, okay, so you're going with the same exact UI that you had before. You're going with 0 launch exclusives that are next generation. You're basically doing the same thing you did 3 years ago with the One X, where you're retconning old games to make them run better on the new hardware. You're not giving anybody any dates for any games coming out there. There's nothing, literally nothing, that's looking next gen on the Xbox. You're giving them the same controller, and you're wondering why your console's selling like crap. Well, that's probably a fairly good reason why. I mean, they really kind of went at this the complete wrong way, and you know, you just hate to kind of point this out over and over again. But again, it's the leadership. The leadership is piss poor on the Microsoft side. I don't know. I know they think they're going to get these billions of gamers with streaming and TV apps and all this stuff, but you still need content at the end of the day, and it's something that they're severely lacking even to this day, and they've been lacking it for years. And the fact of the matter is, if Sony and Insomniac Games can get Miles Morales out, a 10-hour game, you know, they can take up to 20 to complete in 2 years or less than 2 years time, then how come Microsoft can't get anything out in 3 to 4 years, which has been the last time they've even come out with anything halfway decent? I mean, they've released a couple of Forzas and a Gears game. Other than that, it's like, what the hell are they doing? You're kind of looking over at them and you're going, hey guys, wake up. You know, you're a video game company, make video games. You know, this has been a huge problem for them for a long time. You know, hopefully they fix it, but this is kind of hilarious to me. What do you guys think about Microsoft copying one of Sony's biggest advantages going into the next generation? Let me know. Thanks for watching. Rack 'em up. Crapgamer out.
Unscripted.